Every mom has her own struggles. For most stay-at-home moms, aside from the random feeling of insecurity about not bringing home a paycheck, they struggle with never-ending household chores and errands. Working moms, on the other hand, also have an occasional feeling of being not good enough, because even though they can help with the financial needs of the family, their work sometimes hinders them from spending time with their loved ones in return. We are moms like you. We understand all these, but the question is, why choose when you can have both? Be a work-at-home mom and enjoy bonding with your family without compromising your household finances. FH Moms is here to help you jumpstart your work-at-home career. With its fast-growing community of Filipino moms who are either aspiring or already working from home, partnered with its goal to help determined Filipino moms land a home-based job, you'll surely get the help that you need through its tools, guides, and advice readily available for you. Are you ready to work from home like us? We're here to assist you every step of the way. Check the Filipina Home-Based Moms page or join the group for more details. FH Moms. Moving forward, giving back.
All right. Hi, everyone. Happy Wednesday evening. How are you all doing? Hello to those who are already tuning in, already commenting. So hi to Dayanara, hi to Lyrish, hi to Chris, and hi to Gracie. I like your name, Grace. So good evening to all the mommies, all the titas and the atas who are joining us tonight. I hope that the topic that I have for all of you tonight is something that you are excited and something that you're looking forward to learning about. So without further ado, let me share my screen to make sure that we can all see my slides. Okay, so tonight's topic is how to become irreplaceable at work. Now, how many of you here would like to be irreplaceable at work? Let me know in the comments, please do. I would love to have you basically just all of you that communicate. I would love to see your comments, your thoughts, any question at all. Please let me know. So the next 45 to 60 minutes won't be too lonely with just me talking here. So please let me know in the comments who here wants to become irreplaceable at work. And also let me know if you can hear me loud and clear with my mic. I am using an external mic and I know sometimes it's a little bit buggy, so just let me know. Okay, so without further ado, so I really highly encourage all of you to be able to take notes. So have a pen and a notebook ready if you have it. If you're listening to me live, then you can go back later on if you don't have a pen and notebook in front of you. But a lot of the things that I'll be sharing tonight is a combination of the last 10 years of my career of being able to work from home. So a lot of it will be things that you might not have gone through yet, so I'm hoping that you will get a lot of value from it. And of course, share it on social media. You can tag me, Lai Lacaba, or the virtual ate. You can use these hashtags so I can find your posts. And again, ask questions if I am going too fast, or if you want me to give a more specific example on the things that I'll be talking about tonight, feel free to ask for them. This is all created literally for FH moms. This is created as a training for all of you to slowly really start learning more on your soft skills and also beyond your hard skills. So for those who have no idea who I am Lai Lacaba. I am the virtual ate. I've been working from home since I was 15 years old. So I've been doing this for 10 years because I turned 25 in October. So This has been something that I have had for the longest time. I am currently a CEO of 2x2 Executive Services. It's a US based agency that I run here in the Philippines. And basically, a lot of what I do involves both hiring and also managing a lot of different employees. So, a lot of the things that I'll be, like I said, sharing tonight are going to be things that I have learned in the last 10 years from employee to being a CEO and founder of an agency. So, please let me know in the comments where you are watching from. So we have Elaine watching from Laguna. Let me scroll up if I've missed anyone. Hi to Mary Ann. Hi to Cyril. Hi to Jel. Hi to Teres. Hi to NLM. If I'm saying any of your names wrong, please let me know. Maxima, Lani, Michelle, Emiliana, Ellie, I love your names, Pam, and Girly. So thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. Let me just take a quick snapshot of this so I can see who was here or not yet. So we have May from Makati, we have Gladys from Davao, and we have Kat from Zamboanga City. And yeah, so by the way, just to make it clear, I am not a mommy. I am a plant mom, though. I have a bunch of plants with me, but I'm not a mommy. I'm an honorary member of FH Moms as the virtual ate. That's why that's my brand name. So I'm just an honorary mom because I do have plants, and I do have a turtle also. Okay, so before I move forward, I would like to kind of give you, for those who have never gone through any of my seminars before, and you can go back into the FH Moms YouTube channel to watch the other trainings that I've done, is I always go back to Teachability Index. What is your willingness to learn, and what is your willingness to take action? Because when you're trying to learn any skill, literally any skill, it goes back to these two. Like, how willing are you to learn, to actually listen to me right now, and how willing are you to take action after this? So those two are a multiplicative effect to become success, because this is what it'll look like. If you're someone right now who is a 10 on learning and you're also a 10 on action, then you're 100% guaranteed to succeed. However, even if you are a 10 on learning but you're not willing to take action afterwards, it's kind of like you really didn't learn anything. But even if you were at least 5 on learning and 5 on actions, 5 times 5 is 25, you're still a little bit further along than people who just are at a 0. So who here is a 10 out of 10 or even 70%, 80% when it comes to learning how to become irreplaceable at work? Let me know in the comments. I would love to know. I would love to find out who here actually wants to know more about this topic of how to be irreplaceable at work, how to be someone that your company, the company that you work for, can't live without. Jenny Lynn says, love this webinar. I watched it before and is watching again. Thank you so much. That's really good to hear. Let me see if I missed anyone. I think we got a bunch of comments. I'm not sure who was the last one I saw, but I see Chet from Mandawi City, Cebu. I'm actually also from Cebu City. I live just near IT Park, so hello, fellow Cebuana. And we have Hams from Santa Mesa. We have Eva from Pangasinan, Julieta from Laguna. A bunch of people from Laguna. That's very awesome. Okay, so yeah, let me know in the comments. Are you a 10 out of 10? Are you a 5 out of 7? Where are you at on the willingness to learn and the willingness to take action after this webinar, after this training? Because like I said, a lot of when I was talking to Mommy MK about this, about creating a program for the next 4 months for you, what does that look like? This was definitely something that I really wanted to make sure that a lot of the moms get, because it's not an easy thing to want to be, of course, irreplaceable. So as a recap, you can search through YouTube, or you can wait until the next month, because I basically just rotate between these 4 topics. For next month, I'll actually be talking about this of Soft Skills 101, Beyond the Technical, which is, I was talking about, it's always character over skills, because your character can be applied to any job, and skills is only mostly for a specific job. So even if you get promoted all the way to CEO, you will still need a lot of the soft skills that I taught in this webinar or in this training. So the top 10 soft skills that I kind of have found in the last 10 years is having really good written and voice communication, time management, creativity, problem solving, teamwork, adaptability, self-confidence, self-motivation, decision making, and leadership. So these are basically the 10 that I really had to learn really fast too when I started working online, and has enabled me to be able to never really have a lull moment. Like every time I lose, or a project of a boss is done with whatever I was doing, I would always be able to find another job because I had these 10 soft skills. So I would really recommend that you go back on YouTube or go back, search it on Facebook, this training of Soft Skills 101, or you can wait until the first Wednesday of December for this. But the point that I am trying to really have you think about, if you have not gone through this training, is try to think about which of these skills do you want to learn. And for another training that we did was communication skills for working online, which is, best practices is to ask questions. The best communicator is the best listener. It's being open. It's being able to summarize if someone has a action to be taken, or what was the agreed upon, whatever it is. When you're meeting with someone, communicating with someone, it's about showing up consistently. Consistency will always beat intensity. You could be producing 100 YouTube videos today, but if you can't maintain that in the long run, then the person who's doing one video a day still wins over you. And next is being kind. You never know what someone is going through. No one really knows another person's whole story, so it's better to just be kind. Personalize as much as you can. Don't send mass emails. Don't send mass communication. As much as possible, you really want to be talking to the person you want to talk to. And of course, there is double check the message for grammar, or making sure that you're sending it to the right person, and practice and get feedback, which is, you could be doing webinars just like this one. You could be joining a Toastmasters. Everything right now is virtual, so you can join those, or it's just by practicing through talking to a lot of different people. That's how you sharpen and get your communication skills in a better line. And we also last month we talked about how to be confident on video, which was from video calls to vlogs. So how to be more confident is knowing why you want to have the goals that you have, because if you want to be confident, you have to know what you are going to be confident about. It's creating your goal self. So who are you aspiring to be? It's celebrating your wins, no matter how small they could be. That could be recording yourself for 3 minutes today, but you never published it. That's still a win. Being mindful about your body language when you're talking, being open, not being close or hunched up or too laid back. It's also about learning new things, because you only build your confidence about the more things that you're able to do, and basically your strengths. And of course, practicing self-care, and then practicing yourself. If you really want to be confident on video, whether that's just for Zoom calls, if you're the one who's doing, customer service calls with your clients, or you are doing like whole trainings like this, the best way to get better at it, or to be confident at it, is of course to practice. So without further ado, today's goal is to become irreplaceable at work. That is the goal. But you will notice I have put an asterisk on that, and I will explain in a little bit. And I want to check really quickly who else has been here. So we have a bunch of 10 out of 10s. We have 2 Jenalins who said that they're a 10 out of 10. That is amazing. We have Karis at 10. So that is very awesome. I'm hoping that at the end of this, a lot of you will really learn just a ton about how to be irreplaceable at work. So the reason why I have that asterisk is I want to kind of redefine or reposition the word irreplaceable versus indispensable. Indispensable might not be a word that's familiar to you. That's why I'm going to be going over it today. So when you're irreplaceable, you're the only one who can do the job. That's usually what that means. If you want to take a maternity leave, it's going to be harder to do because you're the only one who knows how to manage this one account. You're the only one who knows how to do this particular system. So it's harder for you to take a vacation. It's harder for you to take a day off. Whoever can relate to this, please let me know in the comments who here is the only person who can do a particular job at work. Let me know. I would love to see you. I would love to know of your struggles as well. So that's what it looks like when you are irreplaceable. Now, another thing, another way that you can know that if you're irreplaceable is things stop when you're not around. So what that means is, because you're the only one who knows, let's say you're the only bookkeeper in the whole company, let's say it's a company of 100 people, you're the only bookkeeper. That means that if you do want to take that leave, if you do want to take a break, nothing will happen because you're not there. Because again, you're the only person who knows this system. You're the only one who knows this task. So that's what being irreplaceable really looks like. Another one is only you know the systems. Like I said, you're the only one who knows the step-by-step structure. You're the only one who knows what are the different things that need to be done when, a fire happens. So that's what it looks like. And lastly, it's also harder to grow when you're irreplaceable because you kind of end up being stuck in that one position. So why am I trying to replace basically irreplaceable with indispensable? With indispensable, you can shift to different positions. The reason why is your soft skills is much more malleable than your hard skills. You are someone who can shift to different divisions. You're someone who can do marketing. You're someone who can also do sales, not because you are a master at all of these skills, but because your soft skills just dominate. Your soft skills are something that a lot of people really look for. That's what indispensable looks like. Things grow when you're not around. That's the ultimate test of if you're a good manager or not, or if you're a good business owner or not, is things still move on even when you're not there. What that means is, if I take a vacation, 10-day vacation, the company that I have would still be okay. They would still run. But because my company right now is a little bit newer, they wouldn't be able to grow. So I'm still right now, I'm still in the irreplaceable side. But the company that I had before, because I ran a company before this one that I founded, I have not touched it or done anything in it in 2 years. And it's now running at about, I'm not sure if I should disclose, but mostly like more than, I think, 1 million pesos, 2 million pesos a month. And that's because I became indispensable in that company. Since this is a newer company, I'm still in the irreplaceable side. But that's what I mean by things grow when you're not around. Things still happen even when you're not around. Your clients are still taken care of. We still get new clients. That's what that means. You also help improve systems. You're someone who helps get things done faster or more efficient. And then there's also unlimited growth because you can be, again, put into anywhere. You could be curious about one division, and because you're indispensable, your boss wants you there. So today's goal is really to become indispensable at work. So let me know in the comments who here wants to become indispensable at work. Who wants to have basically all of this, that you are able to shift to different positions. Things grow even when you're not around, and you help improve systems, and there is unlimited growth. Who here wants that? Let me know in the comments. I will from time to time pause and drink from my big 2-liter water. Hopefully it will also be a reminder for you to stay hydrated. It is super important, especially as most of us are working from home and we're mostly sitting down. Hydration is more important. So yeah, let me know who wants to be indispensable at work right now. So we have Jenalyn who said that to be kept by company. Yep. Jeremy says me. We have a couple of people saying me. That is awesome. That's perfect. So that is very, very good to know that a lot of you do want to become indispensable. So what does indispensable not look like? So I want to give you a really good framework, a really good picture of what indispensable does not look like, because I don't want to give you a different the wrong framework of what it's supposed to look like and not look like. So it does not mean that you're going to be in the same position forever. So like I said, you're more flexible. You're able to move throughout different job positions, not because you're a bad employee, but because someone from marketing saw what you can do and they want that spirit, that soft skills in their own division as well. So you're able to be a little bit more fluid throughout your connections and the things that you get to know about a certain company that you work for. It also does not mean, like I said, that everything starts and stops with you, because you are someone who you want. That's, like I said, the mark of a really good manager is if you can leave your people alone and nothing starts on fire. So you want to have things be more flexible with you. You want things to be more something that you can, again, leave. You can take a vacation. You can, call in a sick day, because everything does not start and stop with you. And it also does not mean that you're never getting fired, to be honest, because a lot of the time things happen that's out of your control. This whole year has taught us that there's a lot of things that are not in our control. So businesses go out even though you're the best employee. Things happen. So don't use this whole training as something like, okay, I'm never going to get fired from this job, I love this job forever, so I'm going to keep it because I'm going to take action. Things happen. Your boss could get sick, or the company changes all of a sudden, or the audience that you're trying to reach just aren't just not listening. So don't use this as kind of a crutch to really move forward in your job. So what does indispensable look like? So it does mean that you're someone who they value to move to different parts of the company. Now, the reason I can really talk about and train on this is I was that person. I started as in the company that basically the job that I had before starting my own company. I was a book editor. So I was someone who was checking grammar. It was a dream job for me as a bookworm because I was basically paid to read books and make sure that it was clean. But that wasn't literally 2 years, 1 year, 1.5. I became CEO. I became CEO of that whole publishing company in a year and a half. I started that job in June of 2014, and by November of 2015, I was already CEO. And the reason why I really made myself indispensable, I moved from being a book editor, I became a manager of that division really fast, and then I eventually became head of marketing, and then basically I kind of moved around and shifted. I became an agent, I became part of client acquisition after I went into marketing, and then I became CEO. That was of course the last step was me becoming CEO, and it basically is going to be because of everything that I'm going to be training in a little bit. So that's what it does mean. It also means that you can get direct mentorship from your boss. So when you're indispensable, your boss or your manager will notice it, will see it, because it is not something that is natural, that comes natural to people. Most people want to be irreplaceable. Most people want to be the only master for this one skill in the company. But when you're indispensable, your boss or your manager will see like, oh, this person is different. This person wants to do more than what they're being told. It also means that you can be more easily employable. Like I said, I have luckily never had, I think, more than 2 weeks of not having a job in the last 10 years. Of course, 6 of those years I was employed by the previous company, and now I have this company. But in the 4 years before that, I would always have the next client almost ready. And even when I started in the publishing company, I still, I wasn't sure about going long term. I was always used to project-based kind of jobs. I still had backups. I still had jobs where I was creating articles for different people, even though I already had the book editor job before. So, and it's because you are now someone who, since other employees value you, it's easier for you to get recommendations. It's easier for you to be confident in talking when it comes to interviews, and being able to present yourself even from the job, like even the application letter. So since you are all ready to learn to become indispensable, it's really all about giving value. So like I mentioned earlier, a lot of what I've been doing in the last 10 years is really focusing on my own growth. And because of that, because I'm coming from that place, it's then about growing everything else around me. It used to be about growing the publishing company so it can grow without me. Now it's all about growing the agency that I started so it can then start growing without me. So it's all about giving other people value, because in turn, of course, that comes back to you. That comes back to, because of all of the comfort zones that I went out of, I was able to give people the most value. I was able to help a lot of different clients and also a lot of different employees. So this is what it all basically boils down to. So how do you start giving value? So before we start, let me check the comments. We have May, who says, not sure if I consider myself indispensable now. I've been with my client for a year now and have been in 4 different positions since I started. So it kind of is, because that shows that you are you're able to move around, you're able to really shift and have the trust of your clients. So it kind of is. Okay, so let me know if you have any questions, if there's anything else that I might have skipped over or you need more examples of. So how do you actually become indispensable at work? The first step is you have to get to know yourself. You have to get to know this person that you see in the mirror every day. You have to get to know the person that sits in front of your computer 5 to 8 hours a day. The reason for this is, of course, if you know yourself, it's easier to play to your strengths. It's easier to show people these strengths because you're aware of them. So how do you know yourself? Because you can only show up if you know who you're showing up. Like I said, you can only really be confident if you know who it is that you're being confident about. So the steps for this is, first is you need to kind of have a goal. Even though it's a tiny goal, I don't really even believe that there's such a thing as a really tiny goal. But having a goal means that you are someone who is working towards something. And of course, when you're working towards something, then you are self-motivated and you know what you want, which a lot of people can't say the same. Let me know in the comments who here does not have any idea what their goal is, and I would love to help you out if I can. You can feel free to chat me, but because this is something that I love talking about, is creating a goal. But having a goal helps you have the framework of where you want to go. If you want to be indispensable, you need to kind of know generally where you wanted to go. So for example, for me, when I started out, my general goal was actually to be able to run a whole company. That was it. I didn't even need to be CEO. I could have just been manager, but I had that goal of learning how a business worked because I've been curious. I've been a curious entrepreneur my whole life. I never actually pursued it myself because of different reasons. But when I was able to step out and not live with my family anymore, that was one of the things that I wanted to know was how does one actually start a business? And then I learned the whole process and I became CEO. So have a goal, even though it's really vague, even though it might seem small to you or might seem ridiculous to you. That's where you can start, because that's how you can really get to know yourself a little bit better, because you basically just tend to listen to yourself. And then, as I mentioned this earlier when I was talking about how to be confident on videos, but you have to know your why. Why are you doing these things? Why do you want to be indispensable? Is it to learn a skill, kind of like I did? That was my goal, was to learn how to start and run a business. Since I became CEO, I have started in 3 different businesses that I've had in the last 4 years. I had a book subscription business. I had a bookmark creating business, and I also there was a bunch that I've done since then. And of course, now I also have my coaching business on the side. So you have to know your why. So again, you're able to move yourself forward. You're not going to be stuck in the same place, because that is the goal of being indispensable, is you're able to move around. And you want to get to know your values. What are the things that are valuable to you? What are your principles? For me, one of my principles or values is to always stay curious. Anything that happens, I'm always going to be curious about it. I'm always going to be that 5-year-old who asks, why? Why does that happen? Why is that thing? Why is that, me doing that? Because I know that's one of the ways that I'll grow. The other values is, heart count versus head count. Always going to value our employees based on the things that they do, and not really just seeing them as one of our employees. They're people who are part of our tribe, part of the people that we want to take care of. So you want to get to know. Comment below. I want to know, because I do really, really do want to know, what are your goals? If you have them already, let me know. And what are your values? What are some of the values that you know within yourself? Are you someone who's passionate? Are you someone who's curious like me? Are you someone who's brave? Or are you someone who is more cautious but is willing to take action when it's there? So let me know again in the comments, what is your goal, if you have one, or what are your values? Let me know, because I would really be interested in seeing who I'm talking to as we go through. Also, try to get to know your limits. Every one of us has a limit. That's just true. That's just the reality of life. So you want to know, what are the things that scare you, or what are the things that slow you down? So for example, for me, sadly, one of my limits is I have some mental health issues. I have anxiety. So that means that there will be times where I can't act because of the anxiety. So I have to learn how to be able to cope with that. I have to learn how to still move forward even when I'm feeling that way. So that's what getting to know your limits is you're also, again, you're getting to know yourself. You're getting to know the person that you're going to be in the longest relationship with. Even if the boyfriends or the husbands or the partners leave, we're still going to be in a relationship with ourselves. So never forget to get to know the person that, like I said, the person that you see every day in the mirror. So that also, again, goes to knowing your strengths and your weaknesses. And here's something that you don't hear super a lot, but focus on your strengths instead of your weaknesses. Just find people then who can then complement your weakness, because the reason for that is if you keep working on your weaknesses, you're soon going to neglect or forget your strengths. So one of the sad parts of me knowing that is I used to be really good at fiction writing. I used to be really good at writing characters from my head and like getting them to come to life. But I really wanted to improve my weakness on article writing. And now I'm a really good article writer, but I have lost the characters in my head. So I really regret that, because I would rather have the fiction writing, to be honest, because that was really cool and fun. But again, that's why I would advise that you really try to get to know your strengths, work on them, and find people who can complement your weakness. So what that means is find people who can kind of be the puzzle piece to whatever it is that you're missing. So a funny example is my boss, Tom. He's an American. One of his weaknesses is he has poor memory. So what happens is I'm someone who can remember dates. I'm someone who can remember what people said sometimes, like very specifically. I don't have a photographic memory, but I have just a really good memory. And for the things that he forgets, I'm able to complement and help him out. For me, one of my weaknesses is prioritization. I would love to just do everything at once. If I could just divide Leanne into 5 different people. But of course I can't do that. So my boss, my mentor, comes in and helps me prioritize and helps me see what are the things that needs to get done, the things that actually move me forward rather than just doing everything. So that's what I mean by focus on your strengths and find people who can complement your weaknesses. So before I get to the next one, which is grow yourself, I want to see who commented any of their goals or their values. Okay, so let me scroll. So willing to learn and stuff even when I have fear because of no experience. Thank you so much, Emiliana, because that gives me a really good teaching point also. Everyone starts with no experience. I started with someone who had no idea how to manage 50 people, and here I am managing 50 people online. So never discount your no experience, because no one really starts knowing everything. You start from scratch, you start, you fail, and then eventually you'll get to the point where, oh, this is easy. So keep that in mind. Jenilyn says, my goal is to fully work from home after years of working abroad away from my family. My values are discipline, accountability, and ownership. Learned all these values the best and the hard way. That's usually these values are learned the hard way. Grateful with my previous company who's generous with personal and career development. That's amazing. And I love those values, by the way. Accountability and ownership are two that based on experience are also hard to learn. Can't be really read by a book, but it's something that you have to learn the hard way. Adige says, Diga Trick says, my goal is to be financially stable in order to support my kids, and I never give up no matter what. And I think that's one of my values. That's awesome. That's basically a good mix of I don't want to use resiliency because it's overused, especially now that we just kind of went through a storm, but it's being able to get yourself back up. So that's amazing. Chet says, my weakness is I'm not consistent. That's awesome. That's actually a good thing, because now that you know that, you have to find someone who can complement that. And the way that they can complement that is they have to help you, set up a system where you can be consistent, where you can focus because you have someone else helping you out. So that's actually a really good example of a weakness, that you can find other people to help you be more consistent. AC says, love this part of the webinar. Is exactly what I need to get more about the person I see in the mirror for more focus and clarity of action. That's exactly it. And generally says, now I'm able to achieve my goal to equip myself with a different up-to-date applications and attended webinars like this. That's awesome. Che says, my goal is to work from home, earn while taking care of my kids. And as you can see from all of the other amazing FH Mom members, you know that is possible. So the next step, as you've been already seeing from my slide, is to grow yourself. Now, what that means is you want to study books, courses about business, management, and leadership. Now, one of the things that I forgot to mention is I'm actually a YouTuber. I have a YouTube channel dedicated on teaching people how to work from home successfully. So I'll have tips, and literally the video that I released last Sunday was the books that I recommend for beginners, and basically it was books that I recommend for teenagers to read if they want to have a good career. I suggest that if you have the time, you can try searching for my YouTube channel. It's just Lai Lacaba, and you can find that video of what are the top books. One of them, I think I still have. I have one of them behind me. Wait, give me a moment. One of them is a book called E-Myth. Hopefully you'll be able to see that. And it's by a guy named Michael E. Gerber, and this is the book that is the reason why I'm the way that I am as a CEO, because it's basically a really good business book if you want to get started. And the reason why I really recommend that you grow yourself is once you know who you are, once you know what your values, once you know what your goals are and where you want to go, then of course you want to start going there. You want to take action. That's why earlier I really asked you who here is intended to or wants to learn and also wants to take action, because you could be someone who is knowledgeable about all of the ways to bake a cake. You could have read of all of the books, you could have read all of the courses, but if you don't actually take action, it's like you're not knowing anything. So if you don't know yet what are the things that you want to learn, I really recommend learning business books, management books, leadership books, because the way that most of these books are written is they really try to invite you to look within yourself. They really try to invite you to see what are the things that I want to work on? What are the soft skills that I really want to grow into? So that's why I really recommend these three topics is business, management, and leadership, because most of these books will ask you to see what am I doing? If you have no idea what your strengths and weaknesses are, what are my strengths and weaknesses? A lot of these books are structured in that way. Another book that I recommend, and I have book recommendations by the way at the end of this, so make sure to watch until the end of this training for those books. Is Dare to Lead by Brene Brown, because that's another book that it actually has, and I don't have the physical copy here because I actually lent it to the current CEO of the publishing company. But in that book, she actually lists down like 100 values, and you just choose which ones do you actually want to focus on. So that's why I recommend that book. So next is you also want to be able to grow yourself. You want to find mentors that you can look up to. That has been one of the single biggest reasons that I was able to become CEO inside of a year and a half was because I had a really good mentor. I had my boss who was willing to teach me in the last 30 years of what he's learned so far when it comes to running a business, not even online, but running a business. That has been super helpful for me to be able to get to this point, to be able to be more confident about myself, to become I'm actually an international public speaker. I run 2 different businesses right now. So it's all because of that, because I have a person that I can ask advice. I have someone who I know has been where I am, like being not being confident, not being sure, and has the thing that I want to be, which is knowing what to do next. So having mentors give you that shortcut of what it is that you need to do next when you're not sure at all. And I've been in that situation so many times in the last 6 years, but it's all just about having someone who can see your growth, and it's all about having someone who can provide advice with that growth. It doesn't have to be in-person mentors. It can be someone that you just follow online. It can be just someone who you read books about, because then you can also see their thoughts. You can see their lessons that they have learned with the material that they release. So the next thing is you have to be committed to your own growth. Again, you can learn all of the recipes, all of the ways to bake a cake, but if you're not actually baking a cake, it's like that knowledge is useless. So you have to be committed into taking action with that growth, of experimenting, of going beyond the recipe books, for example. I'm using baking a cake as an example because I really want cake right now, but that's what I mean. But you have to be committed to actually doing this, to actually succeeding with this, or else it's just kind of for nothing. And of course, learn for your mistakes. That's what they are for. One of the biggest mistakes that I did when I started out as CEO was mass hiring. I had to learn that mistake the hard way. I don't want to go into it, but what that meant was, because I was mass hiring, I was not filtering for the actual right person. I was just looking at people's resumes and not really taking to account their character, who they were, and that hurt the company really, really bad. So then I have learned from that mistakes. Every person who becomes HR in our company has to be a person who knows how to look out for value, has to be a person who knows the company's values and the goals. And if this person in front of us or in Zoom we're interviewing is someone who matches those values, because then I don't have to go through that headache all over again. So that's what I mean by learning from your mistakes. And of course, find skills that you're that are interesting to you, and be willing to try. I always have a list of at least 5 skills that I'm currently learning. So one of them right now is copywriting. It's already a skill I proudly have, but I'm always looking to, be better at it. That's part of growing yourself. I'm learning right now how to be a coach, how to be just a better coach, basically, to my coaching students, to my career coaching students. What are the skills I'm learning? Of course, I'm learning how to be better at video, just doing how to be better and better at my YouTube videos. I'm learning how to do YouTube SEO more effectively so I can show up in other places. And I'm also learning how to be fit, I guess. I'm learning really hard right now how to do a back bend. So those are the skills that I want to learn. So try to find skills or things that interest you and be willing to try, because the only way that you know what you're really good at is to try different things and see what you like and what you don't like. So I really recommend that. So let me know, I'm checking. Okay, let me know in the comments, what is a skill right now that you really want to learn? What is a skill that you are working towards? What is a skill that you are maybe learning a course about, or reading a book about, something that has interested you for the very longest time and you kind of want to jump into it? Let me know. Let me know in the comments, what is a skill that you're currently learning or currently want to know? Please do let me know. I would be super interesting. It would be super interesting for me to know what other skills out there, because there might be a skill that I have no idea, and then you suggest, I'm like, oh, that's very interesting. Emiliana says, I'm doing carpentry now while hearing from you and make my own table for this purpose. That's awesome to work from home. That is amazing. I know a lot of people who do create their own tables, and it's super more magical for them because it's you put in your own energy. So that's very amazing that you know carpentry. That's something that has kind of interested me, but I have not done myself. But my dad is an amazing woodworker, so I know who to ask. I know if I want that to be as a skill, I know who can be my mentor. May asks, what was the title of the book again? The book about business is E-Myth. I'm not sure if you can see it. There you go. And the book for the leadership book is Dare to Lead by Brene Brown. Like I said, I do have a list of recommended books at the end of this, so make sure to watch out for that. Jenny Lynn is learning social media marketing and content writing or creation, practicing it now. Awesome. Very, very amazing. That's 2 things that I actually love, is social media and content creation in any form. So that's amazing. Next is, now that you know yourself a little bit better, now that you're growing yourself, the next is you want to actually look at the company that you work for, if this is a place where you can be indispensable. Because sometimes we might be working our butt off for a company that doesn't actually have even the capacity to grow us. So I already saw from earlier from some of you who said that you were grateful for your boss because they help you, for your self-development and your career development. But not all bosses or not jobs are in this way. So how do you assess the company if it's a place where you can move around, where you can shift around and become indispensable? First is you want to find out what the company's goals and vision are. So going back to earlier, you have to find out the goals and the values. Those are 2 main things, basically, because you want to see if they match yours, if they match what you want to work towards. Because if you're not aware of where your company wants to go, it's going to be harder for you to become indispensable, because you have no idea where they want to move into. You have no idea where they want to shift into. So finding out what the company's goals and vision are basically will help you fit yourself a little bit better and have a better vision of how you work into this, how you fit into all of the whatever it is that they're moving towards. So you have to find out what the company's goals and visions, what their values are, so it's easier for you to fit. And you want to try as much as you can, even if you're a new hire, try to see a bird's eye view of where the company is at. Now what that means is try to find out where the company is at a little bit financially, where they are at in the position of growth also, and where they are at in the position of, if the boss basically kind of knows what they're trying to do. The reason for that is, if you want to be indispensable, your boss, whoever running the company, the CEO, you want to kind of target, this is kind of a rough word, but you want to target having them be your mentor. So getting to know the boss, getting to know their visions, getting to know their values also will help you position yourself in a better way. If you know where the company's at financially, you know what problems you can fix, because that's one of the ways, and I'll talk about this again later on. One of the fastest ways that you can grow in a company or you can move up in a company is to solve a problem. The bigger the problem, the bigger the promotion, the bigger the bonus. That's a lot of what I have seen in the last 10 years is, if you're able to take this, like, it's usually called a macro view. It's looking, the big picture point of view of where is this company that I'm working for at? Is there room for growth? Is there a way for me to be indispensable? Or is this something that might just be rolling over and over again and I can't really do anything? And that does happen with different companies. So you want to see that. You want to assess that. So let me know in the comments, who here is not aware. I'm going with this question because it's not usually common that you're aware where your company is at, not aware where their company is at. So now your homework is to assess the company, assess where they're at. Because, like I said, it's not common, but because it's not common for employees to ask this, chances are you're going to be one of the first persons or the only people who will ask about where the company is at. And that in itself will have the manager or the boss be able to see you differently, of like, hey, this person is not just here to put in the hours. This person actually wants to help. So if you do that, of course, again, that's another step into becoming indispensable. Next, and I'm going to take a sip from my large bottle of water. So take this as a reminder to keep hydrated, to drink water, especially if you're sitting for longer periods of hours. Because that is how you basically just keep healthy. So the next way, or the next step to become indispensable at work, is to connect with others. Because, again, being indispensable is about giving value. So how can you give value if you don't know what kind of value that they need? So connecting with others means that you want to schedule a one-on-one with your boss. This sounds terrifying, I know. Yes. But if you're able to do this, you are able to know those values, know that goal, know that vision that they're working towards, where they want the company to go. Because if you're able to do this, if you're able to see that, your boss will see that you're also, again, a person who's not just here to work, get a paycheck, go home. You're someone who wants to give value in some way, who wants to solve a problem in some way. So that's why, if you can, try to schedule even though it's just a quick one-on-one with your boss. You kind of want to know, again, where the company is going, how you can help, where they see you going. If you've been there for a while, where do they see you going? What are your options? What are the ways that you can grow in this company? And of course, you want to also get to know your coworkers. A lot of the time, especially that we're working from home, it's harder to ask for help because, we feel like we have to figure out this all on our own. And because of that, and to some extent that is true, for people who are actually drowning, or for people who are actually no idea what to do next, they will not sometimes try to reach out. So getting to know your coworkers, being the person that they can ask help from, is, again, one of the powerful things, because you're able to be that person that they know can help them out, even though you have no idea what to do next, just because of that value that you've shown them. So try to get to know their lives outside of work, because we all know that we all have lives outside of work. So just kind of keep that in mind. And if you can, unless you're not in this line of business, is try to get to know the customers and clients of the company. Try to know who they're talking to, who their target is, because then if, let's say, their target are teenagers, but most of their products are not for teenagers, because you're getting to know the customers and clients, you are able to suggest or give feedback of what the customers and clients need to be able to have the company grow more, or to attract more of these customers or clients. So that's why you want to get to know the customers of who they're targeting, who they're talking to, who they're selling inside of the company. And again, ask coworkers, is there anything I can help you with? A lot of the time we try to figure it out as much as just on our own, but that also means that even when we're struggling to breathe, we're still not asking for help. So just reaching out, even in a small way, helps, because you then, again, You want to find the problems that you can solve, you can help solve. So you just by asking this, you are telling people that it's okay to ask for help, it's okay to come to you, and it's okay that you don't know how, you don't have this all figured out, because I also don't have this figured out, but we'll figure it out together. And I also want to learn how to give and receive feedback. I recommend the book 1 Minute Manager by Ken Blanchard. I will that is also one of the recommended books at the end of this presentation. But you want to learn how to be able to let people know that they're doing a good job, and also let people know that they are not doing as good as they should be. So you want to learn how to give feedback and receive feedback. A lot of the time, we take things personally, and that's something that can't be avoided if you're not used to receiving feedback. So that's what I mean. You have to learn how to receive feedback. You also want to share your knowledge as much as you can. Before the pandemic, I was doing trainings just like this one to our company, basically on the stuff that they wanted to learn from my skill set, because the more that you're able to share, the faster you'll also be able to master it. So for example, in the last 7 months that I've been doing the trainings here at FH Moms, I've been getting better with my own soft skills, just because I think of different examples, I think of different parables to share, because I've been doing this. So the more you practice, the sharper you actually get. And again, I already said this a little bit, but try to think of your coworkers as heart count versus head count. So heart count is you knowing that there is a person inside of every Zoom video that you see. It's knowing that they have a life outside of this, that you don't know everything about them, about their whole life, because no one really knows what is going like fully in someone's life. So just keep that in mind, versus head count, versus just seeing them as, oh, just another coworker that you're able to work with. And the last thing is how to be indispensable at work is to stand out. Now, before I go there, I want to go through the comments if there's any. There's a really good question by Jenna Lynn, and I'll answer that later as a wrap up, because it's a really good question. Alice says she's learning copywriting. That's very amazing. AC says interactive dashboard gets my interest, social media management and marketing too, to help my online shop. I have a book I can recommend to you about marketing. We have skills that I'm learning right now is how to communicate better. That's very awesome. Good. Very good. Yes, this is recorded. You can go to it's going to be saved up in the Facebook of FH Moms, of Mommy MK, and inside of the group as well. So you can go through it. And it's also going to be on YouTube, basically kind of forever. So you can go through this training over and over again as much as you want. Okay, so last thing, like I said, is to stand out. So how do you stand out at work? Again, being indispensable is about giving value. So that's a lot of what I'll be sharing today. So one, I already said this, is look for problems. It sounds wrong, especially since usually you want to avoid problems as much as we can. But what I mean with look for problems is look for the things that people don't notice within a company that actually affects it. So one is, it could be the script that the salespeople are saying, maybe when they're trying to acquire clients. It could be a misunderstanding between two coworkers. It could be literally anything. And the younger the company is, it's the easier they are to spot. The bigger the company is, the harder the problems are to spot sometimes, or sometimes it's the easiest. But what I mean with look for problems is try to see what is something that's missing, because that's how you give value. Is you give your own perspective, you give your own point of view, because you've maybe gone through a similar thing before. It doesn't even have to be a work thing. It could be, your friends had the same conflict before. You want to look at what are the things that only I can solve, what are the things that only because I am this person, because I have gone through what I have gone through in life, I am able to solve. Because that is the reality of this, is every single person has had a unique experience one way or the other. This is a kind of a morbid example, but there were 100,000 people who went through Typhoon Yolanda with me 7 years ago, but we've all had different experiences since then. We've all experienced a typhoon in different way, and it's the truth for a lot of different people. We all graduated high school, or graduated elementary. I'm not a person who graduated college, but even then, that's one of the ways where you look for problems and to solve, and you're able to move up. But everyone has gone through similar experiences, but we respond to them in a different way. So you have a treasure trove of wisdom. You have a treasure trove of things that you're only you can solve and only you can find out how to do. So that's when you want to look for problems. Look for other ways to make things more efficient, make things smoother, make things more money. If you are someone who's able to solve a problem in the company of how to make more money, you are going to be a million times more indispensable. So keep in mind that. And if you still really can't find problems, find the things that people complain about. That's why I mean here, before you complain, solve it. A lot of the times, problems come out as complaints. Problems come out as things that is making our life rough. So a complaint could be, I really hate that we have to travel 3 hours to get to work. That could be a complaint because, there might be an easier way. You could suggest that we all work from home. Or if not for travel stuff, it could be, oh, I really hate that our website loads for 5 minutes before it actually shows up when I want it to show up. So that is a problem. Do you talk to the webmaster or whoever's in charge of the website? It could be that the problem is, I really hate that I can't see our sweldo right away, or I can't see our pay right away, breakdown right away. So is there a way that you can talk to the bookkeeper and see if there could be a faster way that they can see why their pay is this way? So these are all true examples, by the way, of problems that people came to me with, because a lot of the time when you complain to the person who can't fix your problem, the problem just becomes bigger. So for example, the example that I used of when we were starting out, one of the things that I didn't see right away was a lot of people were kind of complaining that they couldn't see their pay right away. And the person who came to me said, is there a way that we can see our pay slip, a day before our actual payday? I'm like, yes, there is. No one has ever brought this to me, because that's one of the things that you have to keep in mind is your boss sometimes miss things. Your boss won't always see what you're struggling with unless you bring it to them, because we are sometimes preoccupied by another thing, or we're thinking that everything is okay. So don't assume that your boss knows everything, because a lot of times we don't. So try to think, what are the things that your coworkers complain about? What are the things that stops you from getting your work done? Those are problems that you can solve. And of course, and let me know in the comments if this is you, erase the "it's not my job" from your vocabulary. Let me know in the comments who says or has said in recently, "it's not my job." The reason why you want to erase this is, if you keep saying that it's not my job, then you are going to be locked into that job. You're going to be irreplaceable instead of indispensable. When you say it's not my job, you are not willing to grow. That shows me that you're not willing to grow. That shows that you are also not someone who can be empathetic and helping someone out because they're in trouble. You are someone who's also being ruled by fear. Why? Because you are scared of the consequences of trying something new. You are scared of being maybe berated, even though you're not sure that it will happen. You're being ruled by fear to do something new, to do something different. So that's why I want you, for those who are still watching, erase the "it's not my job" from your vocabulary, because these words are the fastest things that are going to ruin your career, especially if your boss hears it. That is one of the things, because as the world is changing, as the culture, the company culture, the corporate culture is changing, more and more bosses are becoming more aware of what are the terms, what are the phrases that problem employees say. And for me, as someone who's been managing and hiring people in the last 6 years, the moment I hear this from someone, the moment I know that this person's probably not going to last in my company if they're thinking in this way. Because then you're not going to be a problem solver. You're not going to be someone who will come to me if there's a problem. And the fastest way to solve a problem is to talk to the person who can fix it. So that's why I really highly recommend to erase the "it's not my job" from your vocabulary, from your phrase, or the things that you say in the office or at work. Me, but still doing it. That's okay that you're still doing it, but now you're more aware. That's why I put this specifically in the slide, because this is something that we have heard our parents, our mentors, other people say. But the more that you say, the more fixed mindset that you are when you say this, and it's going to affect you in the long run. Try to be honest as much as possible with your boss. If you make a mistake, rather than cover it up, just own up to it. I have seen so many people try to cover up their mistakes when it comes to people I've managed. I always catch them. It's so super rare that I don't catch someone who's made the mistake and try to cover it up. So it's better to own up to it. It's better to just tell your boss what you're struggling with rather than trying to keep it up. Keep it hush hush. I mean, because it's going to come out sooner or later. It might be while you're employed. It might be when you're not employed, and you'll be penalized in some way. So just keep that in mind. Be honest as much as you can. You know, employers talk to each other. One of the things that HR managers always do is they call up references, and if you already quit and then your boss finds out you did something bad, then that will also reflect in your future job prospects. So keep that in mind. And take responsibility. We had a mommy here said that was one of the hardest values that she had to learn. Let me see. Who was it? I now can't find it. Yeah. Jenalyn was the one who said it earlier, where taking self-responsibility basically is super important, because if you are not someone who can take responsibility for their own stuff, it's harder for your boss or your manager to trust you to do other things. If you're not going to take responsibility for the results that you have promised to make, again, they're not going to trust you to move forward or to do other things in the company. So to build that trust, to build that reliability in you, you had to take responsibility for things, even the bad things, especially the bad things also. And you want to ask yourself sometimes, not always, because there are boundaries, is, can I give more? Can I give more than what I'm giving right now in the company? Can I give more value? Can I put in some more of my genius, my zone of genius? Some people say, you have your own unique zone of genius where you can thrive. For me, that's creating content. I can create content within 20 minutes. I can write a 500-word article. that's my zone of genius. I can create a ton of content in a few short span of time. So it's always asking, like, because I know these are my strengths, is there something else that I can give more? Again, being indispensable is all about giving value. So that means that if you are unable to give a little bit more, then your boss will also be unable to give a little bit more, because you're just kind of really performing based on their expectations. It's when you exceed someone's expectations that you stand out, that you do become that indispensable person. Okay, so the last one is take initiative and anticipate needs. The longer you are at a specific company, the more you're able to anticipate on a need or something that's coming up. So for example, let's say your boss is sick. Anticipating need is asking them if there's anything else that you can do for them today, or it could be asking to be that person, depending on your position, to be that in between the other employees since they're sick. Like, is there anything I can do for you? Taking initiative is, again, when you see a problem, you want to solve it, or when you see a problem, you want to bring it up to the person who can solve it. So it's when you do this, when you take initiative, a lot of Western companies, Western bosses, Western culture bosses, they really appreciate this. This is something that I have always been good about, taking initiative, because I am eldest ate. That's why my branding is virtual ate. Is I have been taught to anticipate people's needs, because my siblings could be sick, my mom could be not feeling well, and I'm always the one who steps in. So taking initiative kind of comes really naturally to me. But for you it might not be something that comes naturally to you, practice by taking small steps of, again, asking yourself, what else can I give more? What else can I do on this? I finished my task, because I'm amazing. I finished all my tasks within 5 hours, and I still have 3 hours of work. What else can I do? So it's seeing that. It's finding and asking yourself those. And again, it's learning to see patterns. The longer you are at a particular company, you know that if this client does this, you know what to do next. It's being also self-aware and aware of the company, so you're able to really help out where it matters. Okay, so before I proceed into the last one, I see a ton of questions, which is amazing. That was what I was going to ask. If you have any questions, you have any other comments before I go into the final slides of this presentation, I would love to kind of know. Just comment them below, drop them below. I have become a boss whisperer, just being a boss myself, boss and employee myself at the same time. So if any questions, any troubles or problems that you might be having with your current job right now, let me know in the comments while we still have time. Homework or challenge that I have, you don't have to do this. This is just another step, moving forward, is I'm calling it assess and action. So assess and action means look at your current skills, whatever it is. You could be learning writing, content writing, copywriting. You could be learning how to do programming. You could be learning how to be a better bookkeeper. Assess which skill you're good at and which ones you're not. Because again, there's going to be skills that we suck at. And pick one skill you're committing to working on in the month of November. So it doesn't even have to be the skill that you're good at. It doesn't have to be the skill that you're not good at. Just pick one of those skills you're committing to working on in the month of November. That way, you are able to really see what are the things that I'm moving forward. What are the things that, as someone who's now becoming more indispensable, I'm going to be better at. So if you're going to do this homework/challenge, you want to post it. I commit to getting better at blank. You can post this as a Facebook post. You can post this as an Instagram story if you want to. If you're shy and you want it to disappear in 24 hours, and post on Facebook or Instagram with hashtag I am indispensable and hashtag FHMoms, and tag me and FHMoms page so we can see and share your entry as well. Again, you don't have to do this just because you're here. This is just kind of a side bonus if you really want to, but you definitely don't have to. Okay, so as I said, I do have recommended study. These are all of the books that I love and I'm in love with, and these are the books that will hopefully help you become more indispensable. And by the way, that book came from that word came from this book, Linchpin, Are You Indispensable, by Seth Godin, and you will learn a lot from this book. This book is basically, if you want to learn more about self-development, you read this book. If you want to learn more about career growth and development, you read this book. And How to Influence People, for the mommy who said that they want to be better at their communication skills, this is the book. Mindset is more about being more flexible, stepping away from the fixed mindset. Leadership Last and Dare to Lead are really good leadership books. Like I said, that's one of the skills that you want to hone if you want to be indispensable. So that was it for tonight. It took us it's now 7:04, so it was an hour and a few minutes. I will stay on until 7:15 for any questions, so please feel free to drop them below. Again, I am on Facebook, Instagram, I'm on LinkedIn. Feel free to add me up on LinkedIn. Just say that you attended this seminar and I'll be more than happy to accept you. And if you want to, I do have a YouTube channel. It is dedicated a lot to teens and students who want to start working from home, like I was when I was 15 years old. So it's basically all of the things that I would have loved to learn if, YouTube existed at that time. If I had a mentor working from home, I am basically that person. A lot of the videos that I actually create are actually for my sisters who are 17 and 19 respectively. So that's what a lot of my content are. Okay, so going through the questions. Let me see if there's any questions that I kind of missed or wasn't able to see because of the other questions that pop up. So let me see. Okay, I think I didn't miss anything above. Gentleman says, to be honest, I only search for companies that are reputable or has established their brand or service within the industry that they belong with. Why? Because I know that they will take care of me and my family, and all of having more social responsibility. That's true. Honestly, like, part of my growth was when I started with this company, the publishing company before, it was newer, so we were all trying to really figure out, like, how do we take care of our people. Exactly what Gemma is saying is, unlike if it was a more established company, they do know how to take care of people because they now have experience. So like now everyone who comes into the agency that I started, the remote executive assistant agency, I know how to take care of them. I know how to give them the right training. I know how to make sure that they feel that they're taken care of. So that's part of it, of really knowing how good your boss is, because then they've already learned the lessons that a lot of newbies' boss don't know. Okay, any other questions or comments? Jen says, yes, not having it as your job. Yeah, being new to learning. Not all trainings are being given for free. Experience is still the best teacher. Yes, that is true. you could, like I said, you could know all of the ways to bake a cake, but if you're not actually going to take action or have learned to have experience with it, um, it's that knowledge is for nothing for you. A really good question from Chris. How do you basically deal with a coworker who is a credit grabber? So this is I've worked with these people who are a credit grabber. The best way usually is to, and this is a weird piece of advice, is to let them be a credit grabber. And the reason why you want them to be a credit grabber is eventually the time will come where people will see how bad they are. People will see what kind of actual value they bring. That is just the reality of it. Is the more that they say, "Oh yeah, I did this, I did that," and someone says, "Yeah, how did you do it?" Then their story falls apart, because a lot of the time we can't really fix that kind of person. We can't really help that kind of person. I'm gonna move my microphone a little bit, because now I just saw that my camera, it looks like I'm not wearing anything underneath. But that's how you deal with a coworker who is a credit grabber. Is you kind of just let them, because your work will speak for itself. That has happened so many times where I will see someone who takes a lot of credit, and then later on I find out that someone else did it, and I still find out. That's what I mean by you would rather just be honest, because sooner or later that truth will come out. There'll be some mistakes, some misspoken word that actually will come out. So that is my piece of advice, is kind of let them be a credit grabber, because again, in the end, they're not going to be indispensable. They're going to start crumbling the moment they're given more responsibility, the more they're given more tasks, because they weren't the one who did it in the first place. Even though they get the praise, even if they get all of the bonuses in the world, in the long run, it's still not going to serve them. So keep that in mind. Chris asks further, how will you tell your manager that she's not fair on her decisions for the team? You can kind of, I guess for this one, you can just ask them what their decision process is. Why is this person doing this way? When you ask your manager what their thought process is when it comes to a certain decision, you get to see what goes behind. Again, you don't know the whole story. You don't see the whole picture with everyone else's lives. So your manager might have a way of how they're doing certain things that you don't understand, because you're not in their position. So that's what I would don't accuse them. Just ask them, what was your decision process on this? How did you decide on doing this, or how did you decide on hiring this person? Because there might be a reason. It might be a reason that you don't know now, but when you do ask, you probably find out. So that's what I recommend, is talk to your manager, talk to that person, and see why they do what they're doing. You should, again, don't be coming from a place where you're accusing them of something. Just come from a place where you are learning something, you're trying to understand something. Because when you accuse, you've kind of closed your judgment. You kind of closed, like, this is the way that they're going to think, and I'm not going to be able to do anything to change that. So if you are just coming from a place of curiosity, then they'll be more open about explaining, rather than if you come from a place of like you're accusing them right away of making the wrong decisions. So that's what I mean. Yeah, generally, since I say focus on your work, in due time credit will be all to you. That's very true. Net says, hello, my son, also named Leanne. That's very awesome. Carmela says, this is great, love it. Used to think being irreplaceable is good, but now I think indispensable is much better. That is so true. And I also thought that way. Like, I thought I was going to be running the book publishing company forever. I thought I'm going to be irreplaceable here. I'm going to be here for the next 10 to 20 years. And then I think 2 years later, I wanted to start this agency. So nothing is really set in stone. You want to be a person who's more flexible and easy to grow, rather than being stuck in, quote unquote, stuck in one place. Susie, thanks for valuable insights. We have Net from Cabuyao, Laguna. Emiliana says, no question, but big thanks. Thank you so much. That's very awesome to hear. Jenna says, yes, real talk with a credit grabber. Just continue what you're doing, and yeah. And like I said, it will all come out sooner or later. Somehow it will come out that they don't know what they're doing actually, that they're just been taking credit from you. So yeah, I've seen that happen not just to me but to other people that I managed who I thought that they were the one doing all the work. I thought that they were the one who was showing me all of these reports, but in reality someone else was doing it. It still comes out. It really comes out still. Yeah, thank you so much. Let me know if you have further questions. Like I said, I'll be here probably till 7:15 because I actually have a meeting at 7:30. But I'm happy. I'm more than happy to have been able to show you the differences between irreplaceable and indispensable. I'm hoping that you attend the next training that I do. I'm redoing the soft skills 101 on the first Wednesday of December. I'm always here every first Wednesday of December. So feel free to keep the questions coming because that's how I create more content is by your questions. Okay. Just please do let me know. Let me check on you all on Facebook actually. I usually check Facebook if there's anything else that you might be asking. Again, if you do wanna do the homework or if you wanna reach out to me and ask me a question, you have seen all of my social media, so feel free to just ask. I try to respond within 48 hours of every message that I do still get, so feel free to reach out to me. Jenna also attended Soft Skills 101. That's very awesome. That is amazing to hear that you do like that you guys do attend my trainings. Because that is a lot of what we really try to have here in FH Moms is we want to have all of you learn not just the hard skills as such as writing or social media management or programming or bookkeeping. It's also learning the soft skills where you can move up. It's not about just getting the job. It's also keeping and thriving in that job. Okay. Yes, let me know if we still have 1 more minute, so let me know if you have any other questions that I can go through and respond and give advice. I'd be more than happy to help out in that way. Just kind of let me know. Still have less than a minute left. I'm happy that you've all learned one thing or the other tonight during this training. That's really good to hear. Okay, so I don't see any more questions coming in. So that is it for tonight. Again, the next training that I'll be doing is Soft Skills 101. We'll be going through the top 10 soft skills that you would benefit from having or learning from when it comes to working from home. Not just working from home, but in life in general as well. So please, if you do have any questions, again, you can feel free to connect with me on Facebook. You can also go through my videos on my YouTube channel on how to work from home for teens and students and people with no experience working from home. And I will see you all around here on Facebook. I look forward to getting to know you. Feel free to add me as a friend as well, and I'll be more than happy to accept you. Thank you, everyone, and good night.